Hey guys, I have been contemplating doing some videos about break falling, how to fall without getting hurt, that kind of thing, for quite some time. And I do not recommend that you really venture into that without some good mats and things like that and some good professional instruction. But hopefully I can offer some tips, some good information for people who either are already getting some professional instruction or just some entertainment for some of you can get a laugh at my expense or things like that. The hat's gonna have to go. I have found that the chances of the hat staying on while doing falls are pretty low. Yes, there are ways to fall without getting hurt, and there are ways to fall comfortably. You know, there's parkour people that jump from building to building across a highway and roll and are fine, and I can't do that. But I can jump from above my head height onto the concrete. I have that on a separate channel. I may link that in the description or something. But it took a lot of work, right? I think a lot of people see the falls that people do and think either that hurt or they have some special ability, it's unattainable, or it hurt for a long time until you learn how to not make it hurt, right? Because what you see is something like that, right? You see people who will happily fall, and at the very least you can tell I'm not massively injured, right? Because I can still walk around and whatever. Or you see the people who do rolls and those kind of things. And sure, I'm on a mat. I can do it off the mat, but I'm about to do a bunch of it, so I prefer to do it on the mat. But the big thing that I wanted to throw out there at the beginning at least is that it's a lot of practice spread out over a lot of time. Consistent practice is how you get there. And the way that you do that is that you don't start with the things that I just showed, right? I showed those things because I think, first of all, it's good to know that those are doable, right? That's none of what I did is even particularly high level. As a matter of fact, it's all pretty basic, but you don't start with it, not with any of it. Right, so if I'm going to learn to fall backwards, I'm going to start on the ground. Right, I'm going to pick my head up so that I'm not hitting my head, because that's one of the big things. You want to tuck your chin, relax. Those are the two biggest things. But I'm going to tuck my chin, I'm going to cross my hands, and I'm going to hit the mat out here. Now, two things. First, most important thing, this part will hurt, so don't just go do this. My recommendation is that you learn this on a mattress or some other very, very comfortable medium first, and then you slowly build up even to something like this. These mats are way too hard to start on, right? I learned a lot of this on a wooden floor, don't do that, right? Or on concrete with industrial carpet over it, no padding, so the carpet was just there to add lacerations to my blunt force trauma. Don't do that. Don't do it. Right? I was young, I was crazy, and I was really devoted to learning to fall because I'm a klutz, so I fell a lot. All right, so this is the first part, right? I need the ability to do this, to put my chin on my chest and keep it there for a while, because the big thing is I don't want my head to snap back. So when I look at my belt and fall, I want that when I land, I can stay looking at my belt. Right? For those of you who notice I'm not wearing a belt, or who aren't wearing a belt yourself, if you don't know where the belt goes, you got worse problems than whether you can fall properly. Right? When I say learn your belt, I mean where your belt actually goes. Okay, so then I'm going to cross my hands, and I'm going to slap the mat. I'm going to slap the mat with my palms. Right? I may leave with this part of my palms, but palms on the mat. And here's why. If I lay my palms on the mat, I don't know if you can see the light underneath, but it will naturally tend to lift my elbow. Now, if you do not have the flexibility to straighten your arm all the way, right? If your arm naturally bends like this, this so that you're hitting your elbows, that's the sort of thing where you need professional assistance. I'm not going to be telling you how to fix that on a YouTube video, probably. You need professional oversight anyway, because you're going to push the envelope too fast. You're going to do a lot of things that are dangerous. Don't do that, right? Be very gentle with yourself. You'll notice I'm wearing long sleeves. You can also have some arm and hand padding by wearing gloves and a coat. But I want to be out at about 30 to 45 degrees sort of range. If I slap too close in here, it doesn't help me enough. If I slap out here, it can be worthless, right? And the reason that I'm slapping, there's two reasons. One of them is that the other thing other than head trauma I can get is I can brace myself and bring all my weight down on a straightened arm and break my arm, break my wrist, dislocate my shoulder. So I want my hands to do something that doesn't catch me. The ground is my friend, right? No chance I'm going to break my arms doing that, doing what I just did. There's totally a chance you can break your arms just randomly falling off of things to do that. So that's why I go work your way up slowly and with the help of people who know what they're doing, right? So we're going to cross over the chest and slap down. And I start to swing my arms about when my belt would touch the ground. And the harder I swing my arms, the less I hit my back. The idea is that the arms hit a split second before my back does, and that the impact is spread across my palms and across the meaty parts of the underside of my forearm here. And that it happens before my head hits, so that I have an opposite force pushing me that way. So that it's not just this, snapping my head back. You'll notice even on the mats I didn't bounce my head because that's bad for you. Right? So, I'm going to work this until I can get it roughly in the right spot every time, and my elbows aren't hitting particularly hard, etc. Then I'm going to learn to do this. Notice how my feet come up a little bit, but they don't do this and tuck into me, right? This is bad. When I tuck my feet in like that, I'm putting more weight above my chest. I'm driving my back harder into the ground. When I tuck my feet, my knees real hard, when I let my feet hang out here, they're counterbalancing me. My center of gravity sits behind my belt buckle. So anyway, the point is, I'm going to work up slowly, right? And then when I'm very, very comfortable with that, I'll start to kneel. Did you see it? I gotta be careful. How did that happen? Well, I started kneeling. Well, if that's happening, I need to be throwing my feet that way a bit. Or better yet, and this is where you really start to learn some good technique. I'm gonna push with my legs to push myself away from you. I'm gonna push myself that way. For the same reason that a jet does not turn nose down and just dive directly into the ground. It rolls across the runway when it comes in. That helps dissipate the energy. Right, I'll give a longer speech on that at some point. I'm sure I talk too much. But anyway, I'm going to push back. And as much as I go back that way, I'm taking momentum out of my downward fall. That's going to be more true the higher you get. Now be super careful. Don't just do what I just did, because if you don't have the other pieces, if you don't have your chin tucked enough, one of the things that people have a tendency to do is to throw themselves backward, lead with their head, and slam their head into the ground. That can kill you. Don't do that. Right? Do not just go try all this at home. And for those of you that are going to ignore me, try all of this on your mattress. If you refuse to listen to the advice, don't try this at all without some kind of professional supervision. And if you're doing it without some kind of professional supervision,
Get some kind of non-professional supervision from someone with a brain, someone intelligent, and work slowly and carefully on a mattress until you feel no force coming back into you pretty much at all before you start to go to something like a crash pad, like a nice thick a pile of couch cushions. Be careful with the pile of couch cushions thing. You've got to have a setup where you're not going to accidentally slam yourself into the floor. This is a dangerous thing to practice if you do it wrong. I've had a lot of professional instruction, but I just want to throw out there that this is a slow, easy process, and you don't do this the same amount of time that you just saw me do it. I've done hours of laying on my back, slapping the ground, right? And then I learned to do it from a crouch, push back. And you don't want to sit directly down. You want to have enough backward momentum that it carries you past your hips hitting the ground, so you don't just sit straight down and then fall back. And eventually, you learn to be able to kick a leg out and fall, or squat and just throw yourself back and fall. And you can have people kick you over in different things. And then learning to fall sideways is exactly the same thing.
Now I'm going to fall from here to the other side. And I'm going to practice for a long time with the same setup. Now, why do I have one leg out and one support leg?
Because when I actually fall sideways, that's how it's going to happen, right? One of my feet is going to come up. But it's that same thing, right? I learned to do it from here. And when you're talking about forward, like with the forward roll, you need a certain amount of momentum for that to work. You'll find that it's basically impossible to do this and get all the way over super slowly. If you go super slowly, this will happen. You'll just fall over.
Or you'll get partway over and fall sideways.
Or fall some other direction, depending on where you don't have enough momentum. The momentum actually actively carries you over, right? But the way to do that is you use a gigantic mattress, and then you build up a bit of momentum toward the mattress, and you push hard onto the mattress. And there's a bunch of things. The idea with the roll is I want to go from one shoulder to the opposite hip. Right? Take this hand and sweep it past me and crouch down. My free hand is going to find the mat to protect my head, and then I'm going to duck my head inside. Right? So I'll get down here. This hand will do this. This hand will go here. My head will tuck in next to my elbow. Right? And there's a bunch of different ways to do all this. But there's some basic safety things, and the problem is that if all you hear is, oh, it takes momentum, you're going to end up running, throwing this hand down, not finding the ground with this hand, and pushing yourself head first into the ground, right? Even if I sprint at the mat, I'm going to find the ground with that other hand, right? So, anyway, all I want to point out with all that is that there's a progression, a nice slow progression. With rolls, start down here, right? Or down here, or whatever you need to do, start here on a big, thick pad. You want this hand turned, whichever way you're going, you want this hand turned completely around backwards so it can't support you. Because you don't want to point your elbow to the ground. You don't want to lock your hand out. You want to roll smoothly over the back of that shoulder to that opposite hip. So you need your shoulders kind of turned. You want this hand so that you have somewhere to tuck your head and be safe. And then you need to plant your feet, plant your toes, whatever, and push yourself over. to go smoothly over. If you're finding you're hitting your hip a lot, you're not rounding enough, and you're not going hard enough. Now, before that means you're going to go slam your hips into the ground, going hard enough, if you're feeling some kind of pain, you need a better pad and a better set of instruction before you start going back to that. Do not overdo it. And then with a big, thick pad, like your mattress, right? Then you're going to practice jumping forward more. You're not going forward enough, going too far down. And part of the way that that happens is you get scared. And eventually you'll learn to have enough forward momentum that you can do it just standing still, and you're fine, and it doesn't hurt. But the reason is that as I start to go over, I already know I can create momentum by throwing this hand back, and I can create momentum by kicking this leg up. I can create momentum by springing off my leg. I'm used to my body and what I have to do to get all the way over, right? But the way that I'm used to that is I've done hours and hours of rolling from here, of rolling on mattresses, of rolling on whatever. And the whole idea of jumping off of things and rolling comes back down to learning to strengthen your legs so that you can turn your momentum, and then being comfortable enough with the roll that when you land from a jump, you land and then you dive into a roll, right? So you jump off of something and then it goes land, dive, right? So anyway, there's a basic overview of the way that you get to be able to do falls. I'll do more videos on individual falls later, but I hope some of that was helpful. Let me go find my hat. If you enjoyed that or know people that might be helped by it, please feel free to like, share it around, comment underneath if you have other ideas for either things I missed or things I may not have seen from the point of view of Utemi or break falls. Things that helped you along the way learning, or places that I wasn't clear that maybe would need to be covered if I were to do more in-depth follow-up videos. Anyway, that's it. Thank you very much, and I will see you in another video. Please do subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope that you enjoyed that.